What's up, everybody? Welcome into Payoff Pitch, Action Network's MLB betting podcast. It is Tuesday, October 4th. Wednesday. Sorry. See, I'm telling you, you missed this podcast for a couple days, and your timing gets all thrown off. Hi, Charlie. Hi, BJ.
Hi.
Charlie DeSturco, BJ Cunningham, Brendan Glasheen. Thanks to these guys for holding down the fort the last couple days. Arillo was hosting. The MLB postseason edition of Payoff Pitch rolls on. We are here every weekday during the playoffs. We mentioned this last week. I'm sure Arillo did yesterday too. Please leave a 5-star rating and review if you have not done so already. If you're new to the podcast, just tuning in, sinking your teeth into these playoffs, please leave a 5-star rating and review. We'll pick some of our favorites at the end of the week to win a free 1-year subscription to Action Pro. Payoff Pitch is presented by BetMGM, so any odds that we discuss, we will use them as a reference. We're breaking down all 4 games. I consumed some of the action yesterday. Listened to the podcast. I felt behind, but after watching and understanding what you guys liked going in, I feel caught up. Let's get started for today's slate. Rangers, Rays, Tampa down 1-0. 3 p.m. Eastern, Charlie, ABC. Nathan Eovaldi's on the mound for Texas. He's had pretty good playoff success going against Eflin of the Rays. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I took Tampa right upon the line opening on this one, and there's been some sharp buyback this morning on Texas, but I think every edge points to Tampa here. You look at the pitchers. Zach Eflin is one of the more underrated pitchers in all of baseball. It pains me to say that because DeBundo's smiling somewhere when I say that. A near 3 expected ERA, about a half run lower than actual, a sub 4% walk rate, and a career best 223 expected batting average. He's just great location, forcing low hard hits, getting a lot more strikeouts, his highest since the 2020 COVID season. Just everything you want in a starting pitcher, Zach Eflin has been able to give you. And the opposite can't be said for Eovaldi. Since he's returned from the injured list, in September, he's played in limited fashion, but 20 and a third innings pitched, 21 runs. His control is off the walls, 13 walks in that span, a lot of hits as well, getting barreled heavily. His hard hit rate's in the 40%. So there's a lot of concern here with Eovaldi and his expected ERA right around 4 compared to an actual right around 3.6. I just think that the starting pitching favors Tampa. The offense is pretty, interchangeable. The Rays are in their positive split against the righty, where they are second in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. Texas down at 4th, so not too much of a difference here. But, backs against the wall at home, even though there's no fans at the Tampa Bay games, I still think the Rays have the edge here. Their bullpen management from Kevin Cash is going to always give them the upper hand here. So I like Eflin out-dueling Eovaldi. I trust the Tampa bullpen and the offense here to even the series at 1 apiece. So I believe the best number right around 145 right now, 142. Mm-hmm. I'd back that all the way around to 150, 155.
That's where BetMGM has it now, minus 150. Any interest in Tampa series price, plus 185?
Probably not. I don't trust Savali too much. I'd have to see where that number opens up. Just like the pitching matchups, it's hard to project long-term. If more of like how I'm going to attack these games is looking at these game 3s and then projecting out the pitchers in the next series. And I think that we'll get into that later with Arizona. Just there's some teams don't have enough starting pitching depth, and they're going to get hurt if there's game 3s. So I'm going to stay away for now on the series price, but I don't mind Tampa if you want to play it.
Okay. Just a reminder to everybody, the game 3s are all played at the series aren't moving to the other cities. They're staying right where they are. So Tampa, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, there's a game 3 if necessary. Any of those series, the series is staying right there. They are not traveling for game 3. BJ, what do you got for a best bet? See, the old format stuck in my head. Best bet for Tampa and Texas for today.
Well, it is one of my favorite bets of the slate here, Brendan.
Good.
I agree with Charlie. I like the Rays to extend on the first 5 money line, really targeting Eovaldi. Charlie's mentioning about Eovaldi. The biggest thing with him, though, is that his velocity has been down pretty significantly coming off of that forearm injury. The walks are up significantly. In his 6 starts since he returned from that injury, 5.75 walk per 9 rate. And he has some pretty drastic splits versus lefties and righties. He's fantastic against lefties, but against righties, he's allowing a 331 weighted on base average. The Rays are obviously the most analytical team in baseball, and they know this. So you could very well see 9 right-handed bats in the lineup for the Rays, who are a top 10 team in baseball in terms of weighted on base average against right-handed pitching. And like Charlie mentioned, Zach Eflin obviously been pitching very, very well this season. Really, really good down the stretch here too. In the month of September, 2.69 xFIP, 11.67 K per 9 rate, and only a 1.33 walk per 9 rate, 105 pitching plus rate. That's 15th best in Major League Baseball. The Rays, the Rangers obviously hit the ball incredibly well over the first half of the season, but if you just isolate their second half numbers, they're basically dead even with what the Rays did. So I don't think there's this, the advantage that the Rangers would have over most teams is their offense. I don't think there's this big offensive matchup or split between the Rangers and the Rays. So projected the Rays first 5 at -166. Saw Zerillo project them around -155. So anything -145 or better is good enough for me.
Okay. Excellent. I would say, though, I know Eovaldi's been banged up, but man, this guy has got, it's only 2 playoff appearances, 18 and 21. But this guy, come on, BJ, you're a Red Sox guy. This guy was pretty good in that 18 run, and even
he was, and
a
he
couple
just
years
kept
ago.
because he stopped giving up homers, and he came back, and now he's just walking people and giving up homers and earned runs and everything. It's just not good right now, Brendan.
Yeah,
he's just in a bad place.
I would add that Nathan Eovaldi, 43 innings pitched in his postseason career, 8 walks, 41 strikeouts, only 3 home runs. So he's cut it down in those spots. But I understand. I get the handicap here on the race and just how Eovaldi's looked this season. Blue Jays and Twins. Twins lead the series 1-0. 4:30 start ESPN. Jose Barrios, Sonny Gray. Charlie, to you, what do you got for an angle here?
Yeah, I mean, this is also a reason why you should be following us in the action app. Zerillo put it in, and I'm on it too as well. The under in this matchup, it was 8.5 at open, and it's got immediately hit down to 7.5. Now it floats around 8. I would grab that 8 number. Sonny Gray on the mound against Jose Barrios. I like Barrios. I think that there's a lot to like about him compared to last season when he was everyone's like darling because we would fade him so much. But he's got a high chase rate, a low walk rate, a very promising rebound season with his lowest hard hit rate since 2019, about 36%. His xFIP right around 4. And I think the one thing we noticed, and I think we'll continue to notice, especially in these short game series, is these pitchers will have short hooks. So regardless of how Barrios does in the short term, if he does end up having runners on, they will be quick with pulling him. And the same goes for Sonny Gray. His xFIP up at 3.6. His FIP itself down at 2.83. So kind of a high 2, mid 3 type pitcher, but he's got a high ground ball rate, which gets him out of a lot of jams at times, and just about league average to slightly above league average across the board in most underlying metrics, expected batting average, hard hit rate, all that. And again, he's going to have a quick pull if he gets into damage. Well, Toronto, they're 5th in xFIP this season, and Minnesota is at 13th. And that doesn't account for players like Brock Stewart, who is back in this postseason and should, provide extra depth in that bullpen. The top arms for both these teams here are very strong, and I expect them to, keep it low scoring just like yesterday was. So I like the under 8 here. I know it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, maybe, both these bats are hot, especially Minnesota's. They should, or both these bats hit right-handed pitching well. Well, I don't think it's going to sustain here. Toronto also over the last 30 days has been below average in WRC plus just in general. So I'm fading their offense, continue to, and going with an under.
Okay, so Barrios was, as Charlie said, BJ, our favorite guy to fade last year, and he's got confidence in him today. BetMGM's got the total at 8, -115. Are you going in a total direction, or do you like a side?
I actually like a side. I like the Twins for the first 5. Best price you can find out there is -135. I have been fading Barrios quite often this entire season. And to his credit, he has pitched well down the stretch. For June, July, and August, his xFIP was sitting about 4.2. Here in September, he's lowered it down to 2.8. He's improved because he's getting a lot more swings and misses, increasing his K per 9 rate up to 10.8. While that's good, Barrios has really struggled facing lefties. He's very, very good against righties, but his allowing a 322 weighted on base average to lefties. Minnesota has the ability to platoon 5 lefties against Barrios, so he may struggle against his former team, especially considering the Twins hit right-handers incredibly well. And Sonny Gray has been pitching even better than Barrios down the stretch here. month of September, he has a walk per 9 rate sitting around 1. He has walked 11 batters in his last 67 innings. His location plus over that time frame sitting at 108, one of the best marks in Major League Baseball. And what makes Gray so good is that he has 6 different pitches that he can throw throughout his arsenal. The Blue Jays historically for a long time now have been one of the best fastball hitting teams in all of baseball, but they have struggled versus both cutters and sliders. Well, slider, sweeper, whatever you want to call it. Gray has an unbelievable sweeper. It's allowing a 0.97 batting average and producing a 41% whiff rate this season. And he doesn't throw any of his 6 pitches individually more than 30% of the time. So he is very, very good at mixing all of those pitches. Stuff plus on both his cutter and his sweeper are the best of all the pitches that he has. So I'm expecting him to utilize those 2 pitches quite often today. And the Twins lineup, getting Carlos Correa and Royce Lewis back, is obviously huge for them right before the playoffs. Obviously, Lewis hit the 2-run home run to give the Twins the lead early on. So, with the Twins being very, very good against right-handed pitching, Berrios obviously overperformed his expected metrics throughout the entire season. I'm backing Sonny Gray and the Twins to close out this series. So first 5 -135 is the best price you can find.
And if you do choose to go full game, the Blue Jays did have to use a lot of their arms after Gosler.
Twins did too, though. That's the thing. Yeah. And I think it's something important to mention here is that we are in the playoffs and everybody's available. Like it's not like nobody's going to be available, but there will be some tired arms. Like these pitchers aren't, they're used to pitching 2 days in a row. They do it all the time throughout the regular season. So, you're going to see teams utilize their bullpens a lot throughout these playoffs, especially in a 3-game series.
Yeah,
like
I get it.
All 3 games.
You guys bring this up during the season when you handicap a random game in August and September. You're projecting that the manager to build towards October, if your team's in it, hey, they used 6 guys last night. They're probably going to try not to because they're preserving arms for these kinds of moments.
Not to say they're not fresh though. Like they are going to be a little bit tired. It's not like they just had a day off and they're ready to pitch. We'll get to that here in a second with the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. But the Twins did use a lot of arms.
Yeah, and I think everyone's available, as BJ said, and I think that Toronto being down in this series, if Berrios runs into trouble early, they will be quick to pull him and go to their bullpen. And their bullpen is top 5 in xFIP. So I wouldn't be surprised for them to fall behind early and then both Minnesota and Toronto throwing the kitchen sink every arm they have available to keep this game close, which is exactly what happened yesterday. And it just so happened that the Blue Jays just couldn't muster up enough runs and the Twins bullpen was great. And I think they're going to continue to be great and surprise people this postseason.
Next up, we have the D-backs and the Brewers. Diamondbacks win. They were down 3-0. They get to Corbin Burns, a couple of home runs, and they get a big hit by Walker in the late. I watched most of this game. I have interest in this from a betting perspective. Just to get that out there. But anyway, great watch this game, except the 5th inning. That was long as hell. Our colleague Matt Mitchell was at the game consuming hot dogs. That was fun to follow off to the side. But this was compelling. But to BJ's point, 14 pitchers, 7 for each team. So that's what moved this game kind of slowly along. But there was some great theater in this one. So for game 2, Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks with a 1-0 series lead. They're plus 110 on the money line. And Freddie Peralta at minus 130 for the Brewers. We're down 1-0. I saw Zerillo put in the app that he likes Milwaukee to now win the series. He likes the price to win the series now. Where are you at on this one, Charlie, going into game 2?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Zerillo. I think that I personally like Milwaukee on the money line, minus 125, 130 here. Freddie Peralta is one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. Like a 3.3 xERA, about over a 30% strikeout rate. He's in the top 8% of all pitchers in whiff rate. He gets a lot of swings and misses. He's a strikeout machine. Expected batting average of 214. You look at him early on versus now, and I think that this is really what kind of leads to the handicap too. He gave up a lot of barrels and hard hit early on in the season, and he kind of struggled with that. And he'd have 4 or 5 dominant innings, but then he'd have an inning where a couple home runs or a bunch of extra base hits, and all of a sudden his ERA is inflated a bit. But since the All-Star break, a 2.81 ERA, he's limiting his barrels and hard hit rate, pretty significantly over that span. And Zach Gallen's just a guy that I think most of Action Network has faded over down the stretch here. He's in the bottom 5% of all pitchers in hard hit rate. He doesn't walk that many batters, but He's posting his career worst barrel rate, his xERA above 4. He's really kind of just struggled a little bit more down the stretch here. His second half ERA up a full run compared to the first half. And I think that's kind of, we saw he was in the Cy Young race in the first half of the season. He's kind of tailed spin out a bit while he's still, a good pitcher and a great arm. Just less ground balls, higher hard hit rate, higher barrel rate. I think that plays well for Milwaukee, who, couldn't get out of their own way yesterday. It felt like they were just, one play away from breaking through, and they just couldn't do that. Longoria made an unbelievable play to keep, Arizona ahead. And, Zerillo's look on the, I don't hate the series price too. Zerillo's look on that. I mean, listen, we talked about Arizona. Their top end of the bullpen is solid. Their back end is abysmal. And they had to use so many arms with Brandon Pfaadt yesterday, not being able to pitch deep into a game. And they wanted to preserve this lead that they went to the bullpen so early. Well, if they have to do the same thing here, or if Gallen's not able to go a full 7-8 innings, then these arms are going to be, first off, extremely tired if Milwaukee's able to pull off the win here for that next game, which provides value on Milwaukee. And just in general. And I think it's pretty interesting and something to note. And we talked about this before the show. If Arizona does not win today, they have to throw Merrill Kelly in game 3. And then that means who's going to start game 1 against the Dodgers? Probably Ryan Nelson, maybe Kyle Nelson in a bullpen game. It just seems like Arizona's teetering on, they're seesawing around hot water. They could fall down all the way. I like Milwaukee here to pull this one out, even the series. I don't hate the look on the full series going with Milwaukee here, but for now, going to back Freddie Peralta and the Brewers.
Yeah, your point is if the Diamondbacks want any shot to keep going, they better win today.
Yeah, just in the long-term projections, because
yes,
game 1, I don't think the Dodgers are very good, especially their pitching's got a lot of question marks. But if you're throwing out, Ryan Nelson or Kyle Nelson or a bullpen game 1, that just puts you back so far. They don't project well in a long-term series compared to a shorter-term series.
Okay, very good. BJ, you like a total in this particular game with Gallen and Peralta on the mound for game 2.
I do like the over here, 7.5 runs, projected closer to 8.2. The biggest thing, Freddie Peralta has obviously been awesome, and all the stats that Charlie highlighted are the reason why he's been so good. But the biggest thing is when you're facing Arizona, they're going to try to steal on you again and again and again. And Freddie Peralta has not been that great at holding runners on. With the bases empty this season, he has a 320 xFIP. With people on, that rises up to 3.8. When runners are in scoring position, that rises all the way up to 4.7. So clearly he gets a little flustered when guys are on base. So, I know William Contreras threw out a bunch of guys yesterday, and that was obviously huge for them. And the Corbin Carroll stolen base, hurt, but I thought he was safe. But yeah, no, that is a reason why,
you talk about third when he stole. No, he didn't go to third.
And they reviewed it, and it didn't look like they had the tag. I think all of us were on his stolen base pop. Yeah. And then they had the double steal. They didn't get that one either.
Right. Yeah. Double steal. He got to second. Right.
Yep. Yeah. But Perdomo got out.
Yeah.
Got it.
But no, this is where Freddie Peralta can potentially run into trouble. And yeah, Zach Gallen overperformed his expected metrics all season. A 4.16 expected ERA for a Cy Young candidate. That's quite high. And I know Arizona isn't the best lineup against right-handed pitching, and they haven't been hitting the ball well as of late, but when we get deeper and deeper into this game, Arizona, like Joey said, they emptied the clip. Like they emptied everybody they had just to get the win. And the same thing with the Brewers too. Like Devin Williams threw over like 30 pitches to end that game. So all these high leverage arms just threw a ton of pitches yesterday. Ginkel threw 2 innings. I know Sewald, breezed through the ninth. Ryan Thompson had to pitch, an inning and a half. Like, the deeper and deeper we get into this game, like the more and more vulnerable these two bullpens are. So again, projected closer to 8.2 runs. So over 7.5 at -105. And I don't hate to look on the series price either, because if you're somebody who likes to hedge and you really think the Brewers can win this game, well, you can have just a really perfect hedge opportunity, which, when we get to a game 3, depending on what the bullpen situation is, I have a hard time believing that Arizona is going to be a significant favorite in game 3, even if, Wade Miley is on the mound for the Brewers. So good spot here honestly, if you really think the Brewers are going to win, to have a good free roll situation in game 3.
Plus 240 at BetMGM. Brewers to win the wild card series against the D-backs. And these two teams, I totally understand an over. Consider they scored nine runs yesterday. They left on a combined 19 runners.
Yeah.
They still got to 9 runs.
Merrill Kelly's also no sunshines and rainbows. Like his xERA is above 4 as well. So like what BJ said, like if you want to take the series price, like they're probably going to be close to a pick 'em. Like if you would assume with everything available, and you'd assume today both teams are going to empty their bullpen and their clip again, and just this is what the playoffs is all about.
And I'm not this next one. I know you guys have already talked about these series before we entered. Some Phillies futures coming in. I'm sorry. I don't think the Marlins really have a shot in this thing. I just don't think that's what I'm gathering from the app and how we're talking about Philadelphia. They broke my heart by going over their win total, but
oh my goodness.
What, you're telling me to get over it? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, they win the last day. They win the hangover game because Garrett Stubbs gets his first
Charlie,
home run of the
you know
season.
what? I've worked at this company now for almost 2 years. I've gotten a chance to know you. You are the last person to tell me to get over something. Okay, based on how you.
I didn't say get over it. I didn't say get over it.
That's kind of what you said. It's kind of. It's okay.
You on that one. No, right. I'm more upset about the Cincinnati Reds not making the playoffs.
I guess my overall point is, damn it, the Phillies are really good. They're really good, and they got a shot, and that's why I don't think the Marlins have all that much of a chance, and that's why neither of you have like a really firm side, I feel like, on this game tonight for game 2 after winning 4-1 with Zach Wheeler on the mound, shoving last night. Aaron Nola tonight for game 2. Charlie.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
or BJ. I don't care. Either one of you.
Phillies are good. Yeah. No, I think this is Phillies or nothing here. I don't like Braxton Garrett long term. He has a 4.5 expected ERA, has great control, but does give up a lot of hard hits, and his expected batting average right around 272, which is up, pretty significantly from last year. And Nola's a guy that I'm very high on, and he's always a guy that pitches worse than expected. His expected ERA, almost like 3/4 of a run lower than actual, gives up a decent amount of barrels at times. But I mean, the Marlins are a corpse, and I just don't really see them being able to pull this one out. Arise is as hurt as can be. I don't know why they're playing him in the field. I don't know why he's still he's legging out all these plays. If you get him to hit a ground ball in the infield, he's not going to beat it out. He's so visibly limping. The only guy that like really has been looking good has been Josh Bell. Like Jazz Chisholm's fine, but I don't know. It's just one of those games that, like, maybe if you want to look toward a stolen base prop, I know Devando mentioned it on the podcast. Jazz Chisholm's not a bad option because Nola does have some issues with keeping runners on, but Phillies against a lefty here. It just seems like October Magic's back in Philadelphia, which is not great to say because I don't want that to happen. But the Marlins, I don't know how you can bet on the Marlins here in this game.
You saying that also because you have a Braves ticket, or am I wrong?
No, I don't have a Braves ticket. I have a Phil's National League ticket, and I have I placed right before the wild card started, or I guess Monday. I placed Phillies, Brewers, NL, and then 2 hours later, Brandon Woodruff got announced out. So, yeah.
That's
so now I'm riding a Phillies ticket.
I came on the podcast and told everybody about to bet the Brewers at 9-1 to win the NL, and then Brandon Woodruff got announced out. So
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the Brewers, if they had those three, are as good as just about anybody in baseball. But
okay, yeah, Zerillo's got 2 Braves tickets, just using the app here as a reference. I'm sure he bet the Phillies the last couple of days. I may have missed that.
Yeah,
he didn't bet the Phillies. He has a Phillies series.
Zerillo, I mean, he's the smartest baseball guy I know. He has everybody.
Yeah,
he's got everybody. He does.
He's the Phillies NL and a Phillies series ticket, I believe. And I still have a Phillies series ticket, so I'm not betting. I'm mostly not betting this. If I didn't have a Phillies series ticket, I'd probably bet the Phillies. But I already laid the juice with the Phillies, and I bet them yesterday. So other than JT Realmuto, who is now on my shit list, I am liking all the Phils.
He went 1 for 4 with the run scored yesterday.
I needed 2 bases. For the same game parlay. I mean? 650 to 1. I was 1 base away.
Comes full circle, BJ.
Yeah. you never hit those. So that makes me really sad.
BJ, you got anything for this one before we go?
No, this is the easiest pass on the board. The Phillies should win this in a runaway. I mean, I got Debundo trying to get out of recording Wonder Goal tonight because the Phillies are playing. I'm like, dude, they are going to easily win this game. You do not need to watch it. But no, I mean, like Braxton, the thing with the Marlins and I mentioned this on Monday's show, but like all of their metrics from, their hitting stats to even their starting pitching, even their bullpen are just like league average to below average. They were 33-13 in 1-run games this season. Like that is the reason they're here. Like that's the only reason they've gotten here. Everything else has just been average. So yeah, I mean the price is too high on the Phillies if you want to take it. I think this is just a watch and see. I'll have to look more into it, but I saw Sean just put in the app Alec Baum over 1.5 bases plus 105. We'll have to look at some of his splits versus lefties. I'm sure he's very
Bohm is nails against lefties.
Yeah. So if you want a prop, there you go. Tail
or Jazz Chisholm stolen base.
Bohm is not on the shit list. He actually did help last night.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. And Kyle Schwarber also just not tagging from third on a deep fly ball. Just like I could have scored, Brendan. I could have scored from third.
Schwarber is just a great, he's going to be a great men's league softball player, just a wiffle ball dad at the family cookout. He's going to crush it and just half paying attention to your point.
Yeah.
But okay, we got through it. Thank you guys. Good to be back. Excited to be with all of you throughout the course of the playoffs. We've got possible game 3s tomorrow. So we'll see how this goes tonight and what kind of games we're going to be looking at for tomorrow. But we will be here. It could be just a future show if all these teams sweep, which I guess that's possible. Maybe the Brewers will make things interesting, but we will be back tomorrow for Payoff Pitch, presented by BetMGM. For Charlie DeSturco, PJ Cunningham, Brendan Glasheen, thanks for listening. Enjoy the postseason. Leave that 5-star rating as well if you haven't done so already. We'll pick a winner or pick someone that did leave one at the end of the week, and we will give out a prize. So stay tuned, and we'll see you tomorrow.